So nice to see you, and not see you, but nice to be with you again, at least virtually. We're going to be continuing our learning on Hasidus and the Parsha from a different Hasidic Rebbe this week. We'll be learning from the Meor of Shemish on Parshat Lech-Lecha, and this is one of his Torahs. But Midrash Rabbah, Parshat Lamed Tet, so in homiletic collection of drashot from the rabbis, there is a midrash. There is an explanation on Lech-Lecha. Amar Rabbi Levi, Keshhaya Avraham Avinu Alav HaShalom Holech Ba'aram Naharaim. So when a certain rabbi named Rabbi Levi said that when Abraham, may he rest in peace, went to Aram Naharaim, which is the second place he went to. It's after Haran in our Parsha. Urau tam pochsin ve'ochlin ve'shotin, and he saw people eating and being reckless and drinking. Amar halavai lo yeli chelek be'eretz hazot, and he said, man, I can't. Basically, he said, oh man, I can't have a portion in this land. They're just screwing around. They're just messing around. They're drinking, they're eating, they're partying, they're just being mischievous. I'm more serious than that. I'm not going to waste my time there. I can't have any portion in this land. So he says, I have to keep going. So he says, and Kevan shehigia l'sulama shel tzur, and when he arrived to this next village that's in Sur, he called Sulama shel tzur, which it's like kind of like the ladder of the rock, something like that. But that's basically what it translates to. Ra'a otam oskim banichush b'shad anichush v'odrin b'shad ha'idur. So he saw people weeding in the time when you're supposed to weed plants, right? Doing weeding, and he saw people tilling and hoeing during the time of tilling and hoeing. And he said, Halavai yeli chelek be'eretz hazot. Oh man, I have to have a portion in this place. I have to live here. This is a good place for me to be. These people are doing the right thing. I can live here, unlike where I came from. So, Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu lizar echad natati et haaretz hazot. So God immediately said to him, okay, so I'll give you this land. Ad kan l'shano. That's the end of the midrash. And this midrash is a very interesting midrash. It's describing Abraham's journey, kind of searching for a good place to go, and the process of also like Hashem showing Abraham where to go. Remember that Abraham said, Hashem said, Lech-Lecha, the land that I will show you. Didn't really tell exactly which land it would be, so we're kind of getting an idea of what the rabbis thought the process might look like, how Abraham chose the land and how God showed him which land it was. And we're kind of getting to see that Abraham showed him what the land would be based on something as simple as looking around and seeing how the people act. And that was a big difference and really affected him. So we're going to continue on, and the Meor of Shemish is going to ask a few questions on this midrash. But midrash hazeh Omer Dorsheni, and this midrash says Drashmi. This is a famous line, actually from Rashi, and he says it about the first verse of the Torah, saying this verse Barishi Bara Elokim et Hashemayim v'et haaretz needs to be drash. It needs to be explicating, meaning it's really unclear. It's a really strange a verse, and it's strange because the intent of whoever created the verse or created the midrash wanted it to be interpreted or in some interesting way, or want to leave room for interpretation. That how could Abraham make this difficult decision when he saw people weeding and when he sees people hoeing? What does it have to do with finding a place to live, or choosing a place to live, or judging one's neighbors in that regard to figure out which place to live in. V'od, the Havalei Meimar, that it should have said, B'techila odrin b'shad ha'idor, v'achar kat nochshin b'shad ha'nichush. And the Midrash also should have said that, of course, they should hoe first, and they should till, and then afterwards, then you do the weeding, right? Because you can't weed unless you actually have plants that are planted in the ground and grow. Of course, first the tilling comes first, like you prepare the ground, then you plant the seeds, then the plant grows, and then you do the weeding. So this is also strange. He notes the order is also strange. Dahad techila odrin vechofrin bekarka, and he's going to describe this process now. Right in the beginning, you should first hoe and till and dig in the land. And after the plants grow, the seeds grow into plants, and then grows into grasses and grows into crops. Okrin v'nochshin, we uproot them and we weed out the weed. We do some weeding of the grass, the bad grasses that are amidst the good products, and that's how we take care of a field. We all know that. And so why does the Midrash try to portray this process in a negative way? So the Meor keeps going, and now he's going to kind of give his drash. He asked he gave the Midrash, which is the source. He gave the his questions, and he's always a very organized thinker. And here is his next his drash on this. V'nira dehine yadua mesifrei hakadosh demitchila ir para adam yoled. That's known. That behold, that we see that it's known in our holy books. From the verse in Job 11:12, Ir pere adam yoled, that there's first one comes out as a wild ass or a wild donkey, and then one becomes slowly a man or a person. And what this verse means, at least according to the Meor B'Shemesh, is ve'ein lo yetzer tov rak yetzer ra ad yud gimel shanim shenis na'aseh bar mitzvah. It's a very interesting teaching that when you are born, you don't have a yetzer tov, you just have a yetzer ra, meaning in the beginning you just have a evil inclination, meaning you're just responding to your body urges. You cry when you're in pain, and you just want to be satiated with food and love and care, and that's it. There's no higher values or godly way of seeing things until you become a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah, until you become 13 years of age. And then this Yetzer HaTov enters, this good inclination enters. Umatchil b'mitzvos tefillin, as mitor libo b'kirbo la'avodat Hashem yitbarach la'at. So, and then when it starts putting on tefillin, once he has a Yetzer HaTov, it's interesting, he connects having a Yetzer HaTov with putting on tefillin. It's very interesting in itself of what that really means. That now that you have a Yetzer HaTov that's harnessed and used, and then he becomes liat liat. So he becomes to service of Hashem and to inclining their life towards a life of piety, of seeking Hashem in their lives, seeking transcendence. Slowly, very slowly, one step at a time as they grow up. Aval hu adayin malev pnius ubilbole machshavot. But the truth of the matter is, even once they get the Yetzer HaTov, they're still full of temptations and confusing thoughts that take them off the derech, take them off the path, right? And that hinder their progress in coming closer to Hashem. Al ken achiyuv motel al kol mi shechefso ritzono lekasher et atzmo bo yitbarach shemo she'akor kol hamachshavot ha'ra'ot melibo u'memocho. So, therefore, the obligation lies upon anyone who is searching or seeking for God, or his desires to connect himself or herself to Hashem, that they need to uproot all of the evil thoughts, all of the bad thoughts, the destructive thoughts from their heart and from their brain, from their mind, from their intellect. All the evil temptations and all these thoughts, we need to work on them. We need to work on uprooting them. And he describes a place when this is going to be finished, but I don't think it's ever finished. We're always constantly working on that. And maybe that's what this drash is about here. Ba'achar kach, and after you do this, after you do the uprooting of these evil thoughts and these things that hinder your progress of coming closer to Hashem, ba'achar kach hetcholech, when one goes umit chazek ba'avodato yitbarach shemo uvba b'shanim v'kavar hu mushrash ba'avodat Hashem yitbarach shemo zman zmanim tuva. So then afterwards, when one is strengthened in his service or her service to Hashem, meaning really starts to come close and become a strong person in serving Hashem, serving God, and the person gets older in years, and he's already rooted in service of God. He's rooted his life or her life in the service of Hashem. Zman zmanim tuva, and a lot for a lot of time. Afal piken mederech hatzadikim hachasidim ha'amitiim lefashfesh adayin ulichbor v'laador v'maasehem uv'chol davar v'dar limtsoa chesronot ba'atzmo. Even though one finds himself truly rooted in the divine service, it is the way of the righteous, of the saints, of the pious ones, the Hasidim, the true Hasidim and Tzadikim, sages. The Fashvesh, to examine very closely, and to dig and to hoe and till in their actions, b'chol davar, in every kind of matter and everything that happens in their life, to find where there still lacks, where there are still places that need to grow inside of themselves. Until that person sees in their own eyes, this teaching just gets me every time, that they haven't bichlal at all started serving Hashem. That they realize that there's so many aspects to their life that needs improvement that they haven't even started, and they need to start again, and they need to dig, and they need to till, and they need to create more space where more new seeds of divine service can grow. And they do tshuva, like they're a newborn child. V'zeh nikra idor, and this is called hoeing or tilling. Hainu shechofer Mechadash kamo idor shehu tchilat avodat hakarka. And this process of finding yet again the problems or the lackings that one has in their divine service within themselves, or the places where they can really seeing the places that lack the influence of the transcendence in their lives. Doing this is called idor, or tilling the ground, just as one tills the ground to prepare the work for seeds to grow, and it enables seeds to grow. So too, the same we do in our divine service, in our path towards our Shem, in our spiritual life, is we try to find areas that can need growth. And we need to push around the dirt. We need to fumble around the dirt until we can find a place that needs growth. Even if things seem perfect above ground, we know underground that we can still use some work in certain areas. And we constantly try to find this thing. This is part of what it means to serve Hashem. And he calls this idor, or tilling, or hoeing. V'zeh biur ha-midrash. And this, of course, is the explanation of the midrash. Kivan shehigia l'sulam hashal sor. When Abraham arrived to this place called Sulam hashal sor, now he's going to take a drash on the Hebrew name of the town. Rotze lomar, meaning al derech v'sulam motzav arta, just like by way of there is a ladder erected upon the land, as in Jacob's dream, when he sees the ladder in his dream going from his place of sleeping to the angels above, and the angels are going up and down. That is what is hinted to in this verse, and we all know that ladder is a ladder of divine service for the Hasidic Rebbeim, and certainly it represents the ladder of service of Hashem, to climb closer and closer to Hashem. And that's, of course, what Yaakov represented. Shalzor, and this the part where it says Shalzor of the town, Sulama Shalzor, which means of a rock. Perusho, al derech tzor olamim. Of course, it's referring to the tzor olamim, the rock of all worlds, meaning Hashem, as Hashem's called in Isaiah 26:4. Kolomar, as to say, Sulam Shalzor, Hainu ba'aliyot v'hiluch Shalzor olamim. In terms, so meaning Sulam Shalzor, the name of the town, the ladder of rock. This is meaning in elevating oneself and moving along the path towards Sor Olamim, or of the rock of all worlds. Like the God himself is the rock of all worlds. And I think so too, hinting here is that the path itself is also the rock of all worlds. It's what sustains us. It's what we can truly grab onto when all is confusing. A rock. V'ra'a otam oskim b'nichush b'ashad nichush. And they see, and once Abraham sees these people busying in weeding first, at the time of weeding, meaning the hainu, as it says, as it was already spoken about above, kanal, shemitchilat yemei orim v'hayaladot hem okrim u'minachshin kol ha'horim u'pnius u'machshavos lo tovim melibam u'mocham. As we said above, as the Meor Shemesh said above, that in the beginning, in the days of a person's youth, right before when it's like 13 to whatever point in the days of being a young adult, they have to uproot, and they need to really weed out all these thoughts, these evil thoughts and these temptations, and the thoughts that really lead them astray from their heart and from their minds, from the emotions they feel and from their intellect. We have to work on this, to not feel these things, or to try to not think these things that lead us down a bad path, to fix our mindset, to fix our heart and where our heart lies, and to not let that lie in things that are destructive in our search for Hashem, our kavanah, our intention, our direction in our world, our mission and vision for our lives. V'zekruya nichush she'okrin ha'esavim lo tovim, and this is called nichush. This is called weeding. That one uproots all the grasses that aren't good. And remember, the challenge in the beginning, he said, was on the order of the midrash. Right. First, Avraham described the people doing nichush, doing weeding, and then he described them doing tilling or idor. Right. And the Meor Shemesh challenged the midrash by saying that the order should be opposite. First you have to till the land, and then you have to weed the plants. After they grow, then you find the bad plants, right? But he's answering this question. This is an answer, the spiritual answer to why the Midrash has it like that, right? Because when one develops, first you do the nichush, right? First you have to, if you want to become a spiritual person, you want to dwell with Hashem and bring transcendence in your life, you have to do nichush. You have to weed out the bad things in your life, the bad influences, the things that push you down in your life, in order to really, and then he's going to get to the next part. V'odrim b'shad idor, and that they were doing tilling or hoeing during the time of tilling or hoeing. Rote lomar, meaning gam achashabayim b'yamim adayin chofrim fashfashim b'maasehim machzikin atmam kilu lo ibdu et Hashem me'olam. Right. So even after they grow old in age, people. A Jew should still search and still dig and still examine closely their actions, and try to get themselves and make themselves feel and make them see themselves like they still haven't even begun to serve Hashem, and they've never actually served Hashem, and this is just the beginning. Zekruya idor ba'avodat hakarka, and this is called tilling or hoeing oneself, or tilling the land of oneself, of one's spiritual life, ba'avodat hakarka, just as one does in serving the land. And of course, Abraham said once they saw them doing this spiritually, he said, I want to be a part of this. This is what you need to do. This is the right way to live. I want a chelek in this. I want a chelek in this. I want a part in this. I want a portion in this. And once Hashem saw this, and God promised him, saying, to your seed I will give this land, because you made the right choice, right? You made this. This is the land I want you to come to, because these people are doing the right thing, and they're living their spiritual lives right, and they're doing something that's healthy for them. And thusly, so too, your children, the righteous ones, just their future saints of your family, the people Bnei Israel, should behave. And so that's the end of the teaching. It's a really beautiful teaching. One, obviously, there really is 2 points I take out of this. Number one, it's so interesting, exactly the way, at least the rabbis in the Midrash, or especially the way in which the Meor of Shemesh sees the process of God showing Abraham what the land is going to be, what land he should be in. That this process is going to involve looking at the people around them and trying to find a shechen tov, trying to find good neighbors that can influence you in the positive direction. And this illustrates the value of how important it is to live and put yourself around people that are influencing you towards a positive direction, while trying to create your life and build your life around people and a place that is a good influence on you, that leads you towards Hashem, that leads you towards transcendence, that leads you towards holiness, holy living, good ethical living as well. They're all the same, I think. And that's extremely important. Going back all the way to Avraham Avinu, Avraham our father, finding the land of Canaan, finding Eretz Yisrael, is when you find the people you can live with, who are influencing you towards a positive direction. And I think this is a really beautiful teaching. And then, of course, the heart of what he's trying to say here. The second thing I want to mention, and really the general idea to get out of this, the spiritual lesson, that yes, in the beginning we work very hard on ourselves, weeding out these evil things and these thoughts that we feel, and we have to do this and get rid of those temptations and thoughts, and try to distance ourselves from the things that bring us down. That's of course important. But even more importantly, we all kind of tend to think, oh, maybe I've lived, I get it. And I bump into so many people who say, oh, I'm too old. I'm too old to start learning Torah. I'm too old to start changing my life. Or also people who really think they already have changed their life. And already people who do think that they're good. They got their values. They understand life. They don't need anything else. Right? What else do they need? I'm satiated. But the truth of the matter is you're never satiated. You always need to be closer and closer to Hashem. You always need to try to raise yourself to a higher level, and that's what being a Jew is all about. And to try to see yourself and humble yourself to say, I truly haven't even served Hashem yet. Because we know, truly, Hashem is infinite. Hashem's holiness is infinite. And it requires a more and more time and more effort to keep growing and that requires real conscious effort of really digging and really hoeing and tilling in your own life to find the chesronot, to find the lacks that you need to grow, and the places in which you need to build your life. And I really pray for all of us, Keni Ratzon, may it be God's will that we all are able to grow in this way, and we're all able to look in our actions and figure out where our chesron are, where are our lacks. I ask God to bless us that we can forever see ourselves as new beings, as people who have not even started on their path to serving Hashem yet. That we can each work just like that together as new beings, as people who are just starting out on this path of serving Hashem. And that we can always bring more and more transcendence and holiness and kedusha into our life, just as our forefather Abraham Avinu did so long ago. And with that, I hope you enjoy Parshat Lech-Lecha. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.